Hey, it's Mia. This is my character Ruin. He's an angelic were-dragon. He's currently a partial, and his best friend is Alpine.
Hi, I'm Emmy. If you haven't seen me in Ruin's videos over here, this is Captain. She's also an angelic were-dragon. She's currently a partial, and she likes to lick everything, just all of it. Okay, did it. Your turn.
Hi, I'm Craig. This is my guy Pitch. He's going to be a full suit in progress right now. Head, feet, and tail done right now. One of his favorite things to do is whistling, listen to music, and if he likes it well enough, he'll actually dance to some tunes.
Alright, so when I got Ruin, I only got the head because I didn't know how many other parts I was going to want, and I didn't really have much money. The head was only $300. And I found out later that that's actually pretty cheap for a head. People tend to complain that fursuits are actually way too expensive, but what they have to remember, first of all, is that it's a luxury item, that it's really not something you need for the fandom. But I was wondering, because I know that Ruin's cheap, and I really don't know the actual costs and such, but I was wondering if you could break down the costs for me and how much everything costs and why it costs that way. But why do makers make their prices what they are?
Well, as far as supply costs, there's a lot of things that can vary. Some people, they'll say they want to do their head on a resin base. It takes a little bit, and resin's expensive to cast out. It takes a lot of time to do the molds, stuff like that. And then there's also the people who, with people who do foam heads. It takes a little bit of time just in sculpting the foam. I actually have an example right here. This right here, time and energy put into that takes about 8 hours of work just to get to this point. Just make sure everything's smoothed out and ready to go. As far as stuff like fur, cost can actually vary. It can cost, depending on the quality. Some furs I know have started about $20, and I've seen some go all the way to about $50 a yard for the really good stuff.
Right, and I've heard that. Okay, so with the fursuit costs, people tend to say, well, if I buy the materials, and they think that they can get it cheaper. Sometimes makers will do that, but they still have to pay a price. And what people don't understand is it's man hours. The fursuit maker is still trying to make a profit. They have to make a profit because of the work that they're doing. And so people think that if they just buy the stuff that this person's just going to make it for them. And then, what's the maker going to get out of that? They'd basically be making it for free at that point. And there's other costs too, shipping and insurance and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, there is. Actually, I know a lot of makers actually don't include that in the price because they have to calculate it later due to the weight of the package on the finished suit. So, depending on how far it's going to travel, whether it's international, will end up making your shipping costs vary quite a bit.
Yeah, I know that Ruin, I paid $300 for the head, but he was being shipped from Canada, and they had me pay $50 for shipping. So...
Customs fees.
Yeah, it's and I don't know if that included the insurance or not. I just know that they said it was going to be $50, and I really wasn't going to argue with them about it, and I didn't think it was bad considering I did get him for so cheap anyways. So,
what's the average shipping cost, do you think, on, let's say, full suit versus, parts?
Full suit, probably, I know the last one I shipped out cost me about, I believe it was $80 to ship out to California, fully insured, for about $2,500 insurance. So it can get up there in price.
Still, I'd rather put the insurance on it, though. If it's going to cost,
so much,
hundreds to thousands of dollars.
It's always good to have that safety net with the insurance.
Yeah, that really sucked if they got lost in the mail.
Somebody would be dead. Don't know who. Somebody
pay for this.
Somebody go pay for this, and somebody go get fired.
And the next thing with the cost is people tend to say, when people complain about the fursuit cost, I have a lot of people that I hear in groups saying, okay, fine, make it yourself though. And, making it yourself would be cheaper, I would think.
But it's also...
yeah, and, but they also gotta understand it's not gonna be the same quality. If you just started out, you're gonna have that first suit that you look back on like 10 years from now and go,
This is the first suit you're gonna
You'll cringe. You'll cringe.
You'll cringe.
I remember.
Suit.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can still cringe at my older ones. So yeah, you'll cringe.
Yeah. But okay, like I know that you're a fursuit maker, and so you make your own. For you, what is the cost just for you of making a personal suit? Since you're not paying for like the man hours for the labor, the shipping and stuff, the labor. What's just for like, what would you say is cost of materials for one of your personal suits that you've made for yourself?
Well, I know. Let's see. For my first version of the pitch was actually about $150 because I ordered about 6 yards because I'm a big guy. Let's see. Foam costs was about another $25. Shoe costs, I'm gonna say between $190 to $230 to make your own for a full suit.
Who's your most expensive suit that you've made for yourself so far?
2.0.
2.0.
Pitch 2.0. All those materials for the foam base, those cost quite a bit a penny. Those materials just to get to the point where I can cast cost me about $100, and that's not including the foam.
Essentially, let's talk about the price differences right now. So, why would perhaps a beginning builder like me, why would my prices differ than someone say like you or Autumn Fallings or someone else? Let's hear it from you.
Well, rates differ depending on the amount of experience the maker has. The beginning makers usually price a little lower just to get their name out there and gain, as they get more commissions and work on more people, they'll get the experience they need to be able to charge higher prices. That's basically it with that one. It's just level of experience, really.
There's also
it also depends on cost of materials a lot of makers use. I know some makers use cast, like pitch right here was made on a cast foam base. I know makers use the resin bases, which are more pricey. That can have an effect on the overall price, whether it's digigrade or plantigrade or padded or whatever. If you're doing a full body suits.
It also includes the artist aspect, because not a lot of economics will include that every time, because it's just so iffy and it's really inconsistent. But the prices on a suit or on any artwork, or I'm just backtracking to what I know, is people will pay what they want to pay for something that they really want, right? So if an artist gets a lot of demand, as supply and demand is a thing, but also the fact that their style might be difficult to achieve for whatever reason, being, as you say, supply costs and things. Not to mention that it's also the popularity of a maker, because I've seen some builders with like pretty similar styles, but one of them will have heads starting at $300, while another will be starting their head prices at $500 and up. So it really depends on the popularity of that person as well, because styles can be done similarly, but in the end it's all about who they've seen the most.
It took me forever to find a maker for Rune because I was looking for a certain style. There were a bunch of people doing it for cheap, but none of them fit the image that I had for my character.
Yeah, so unfortunately it is a bit of a popularity contest at times too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, of maybe any suit makers whose prices dropped or who stopped taking like business because of there was a slight in their reputation for whatever reason?
I do know a couple, yeah. And it all goes down to the drop in quality.
Yeah. It's have you seen some that also not just a drop in quality, but like socially, within the fandom, we've seen people who socially have not done things or have not followed through on what they said, things of that nature that have even though their work is good, they can't take business anymore for whatever reason, be it the wares or the just bad reputation.
I've seen that before, yeah.
Beware can be brutal.
Yeah, unfortunately. And if that's a false beware, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. There's not a...
Right. But you still, whenever you're going to commission anybody, you still want to make sure that you look them up, you do your research, you make sure that they've got a good reputation. And but I've known some people that they don't get a work in progress outside of after they've approved the ref or whatever, or approved the draft, and then after that they don't hear from the person again until it's finished and it's out the door.
And it's too late to make any adjustments.
Yeah, any good maker will be doing work in progress specs through the entire process, just to make sure that you're happy with everything, everything that's going on with it. And just in case, and a lot of the times we will not make changes if you really want them. It's an investment. You want to be working with someone who does that kind of work.
Yeah, you're going to be wearing it out and about. You're going to be wearing it at cons and parties.
You want it to represent you.
Yeah,
properly.
and you want it to look good. You want to make sure that, because I mean, granted, anybody that you say, oh, I paid like $1,000-some for a fursuit, they're already going to look at you like, why would you do that? Most people would, if they're not in the fandom.
You get a lot of questions like, what? You could have put that on a house or on the car.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Yeah, so you want to at least make sure that you're proud of what you have, so that when you do get those questions, you be like, look at it, it's soft, it's cute, it's adorable, it's fluffy. Like, you're just saying that because you're jealous.
Yeah, basically.
So
then, multiple people do this differently, but how do you kind of approach the whole thing with working with people? Because I've worked with you in the past, but I feel like it's also probably a good idea to kind of share with others so they can get an idea of maybe for their own work in future how to communicate and show work in progress of things.
Basically, I try to keep in touch with my customers. I'll show them I'll show them progress pics as I'm going. I'll give an example. One of my commissioners, Serge, he at one point ended up getting about, I think it was 12 work in progress pics in one day. So he was literally watching me work on it little by little over the course of the day.
I got Captain from you. So while you were working on Captain, I was actually sitting in call watching you work on her. So that way you could go, hey, does this look okay? If not, do I have to change something, or so on and so forth. So I sat in call with you for a majority of, I think it was like sculpting and things. And then we went from there. We're going to start going back. Yeah, we changed into heads, by the way. So hi guys, we're back. We had technical difficulties between takes. There's a whole new call because of that mess. We'll tell you about it later. Anyway, so we're moving on to stylistic decisions.
that thing.
And also parts and like fursuit types and things. So we're gonna start with like types of fursuits because that's a little easier and more general to cover. So Pitch, you wanna tell us about maybe like what your favorite type of fursuit to build is? Like what type?
Cleaning style, maybe?
The 2D style. Do you like that's more like do you like to build like the partials more or like the fulls? Let's do that first.
Honestly, I prefer building partials more than anything, and I'll tell you why. Bodysuits.
But I like partials. You can wear your own t-shirts with them, you can kind of personalize them a bit more. Because full suits, you can wear shirts with them and stuff, but it's a lot more hot. It seems a lot more trouble. Like, not really trouble, but just a lot more effort goes into it. So it's like, I kind of prefer partials because I feel like they're not as restricting, like, body-wise. I feel like you could do a lot more stuff, but that's just my personal thing. I know people that like full suits and stuff. Oh. What about you?
Oh, for me, I built my own, I built my own full suit. It's an older one. I don't think I've actually showcased the full suit ever, but I built my first full suit, and that was actually the original intent.
For those who don't know the terminology, partials are what I consider a partial, because there's different people that consider it different things. I consider a partial head, hand paws, and a tail at the least. Now, feet paws I think are optional, but some people like to include feet paws also in with their partial. But I say as long as you have like head, pawsies for your hands, and a tail per se, that is what I consider a partial.
Sometimes builders will call it like a mini partial or like a full partial. Sometimes that'll include all the sleeves. It'll include the feet paws. It'll include the tail, the head. Sometimes that means it'll also include the wings and even like kind of leg, like kind of pant legs, I guess. So furry pant legs. So it's literally everything but the bodysuit itself.
So what's a 3/4 suit?
The 3/4 suit, it's kind of like it's essentially just kind of like a furry overalls as a bodysuit. So it usually goes up to here, but everything below is fursuit, as well as the sleeves, the paws, the head, tail, feet, paws, everything's included usually. A lot of times the 3/4 suits will be digigrade, but overall the 3/4 suit still kind of requires, it requires a t-shirt or something to cover the shoulders and possibly upper body. But normally it'll be kind of mid-torso down for a 3/4 suit. But essentially they don't have to wear shorts at that point.
Ah, okie dokie. That makes sense. Interesting. Yeah, and then the full suits, the full body suit that it doesn't always require. Some people don't do it with the duct tape dummy, but if you are going to commission a maker, they usually require a duct tape dummy.
I've seen I've actually spoken to some builders who they don't actually use the duct tape dummy, which is very interesting. Their work turns out to be very interesting for each suit that they make, but they don't usually require a duct tape dummy.
Didn't you say something about duct tape dummies, Pitch? About not needing them, or you personally didn't use them for yourself, or?
For myself, no, because I was able to use old clothing and use per pattern.
Ah, okay.
But that was mainly with planting grade. When I get ready to do my next one, I will a duct tape dummy.
And then the difference between digigrade and plantigrade. Those are
basically plantigrade just means straight leg, almost like you're wearing regular pants when you apply to a bodysuit. With the digileg, it's more padded, so you get that more anatomical look.
It gives the rounded appearance so that the legs kind of go back, right?
Yes, it's so the legs look like they're bent back, like you would find in there. Actually find an actual animal.
Normally it'll also be that because digigrade, usually in anatomy, it means that the animal is walking on their toes, whereas humans are flat-footed, but animals walk on their toes. So hopefully it builds that illusion.
I think from what I've seen, it's done a pretty good job. Like, I like the way they look, and then people have different ways of making their things padded. They have a different way of padding them and stuff. But other than just like the difference between like digigrade, plantigrade, full suit, partial, 3/4 suit, that kind of thing, there's also the style of fursuit. I know that, like I mentioned earlier,
You forgot quad suits.
Oh yeah, the quad suits. Well, I kind of want to like make them their own like separate thing eventually, because those take a while
at
to
least
explain.
just kind of explain.
Quad suits is that's when the people are basically, the illusion is that they are on all fours. It's more of a feral looking fursuit. But the illusion, the people are just kind of hunched over though, right? Mm-hmm. For quad suits, like I've never seen a person get in one. I've just seen them.
It's a really interesting process to even just watch them get in one. And I've actually, there are very few of them, but there are tutorials on how to do the duct tape dummies on those. And it's really interesting to see the processes going behind it.
I've seen an Arcanine quad suit. I have seen the Nine Tails quad suit.
There's that one from the show, the Weeaboo show.
Naruto.
Yeah, that. So there are quad suits, and then there are also the stilt suits, which are the fursuits essentially that do the digi with. They include stilts, so that's a whole nother level of whoa.
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
Let's move this party boat over.
Okay, so styles of fursuits. When I was commissioning Rune, I actually found a lot of people that were willing to make Rune for cheap, but the problem is their style. I had a certain image I had in mind for Rune. Now, granted, Rune ended up looking a little different than I had in mind, but I liked the way he turned out. But originally I was looking for a style similar to like this at first, but it wasn't within my price range. But I definitely tried to find makers that could make the bigger eyes, the more exaggerated like features to make it just really cute and adorable and recognizable and memorable, essentially. But no, I mean, there's people that get realistic styles. My sister-in-law, she has a realistic wolf, and it has it's the resin eyes.
Yeah, the glass eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Has the resin base.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And it's got the moving jaw, but it's got like the gums in it have been basically molded on and painted so that they shimmer, and it has the plastic tongue on the inside that is actually the silicone tongue on the inside, so that it's more realistic. There's people that prefer a more realistic animal look,
Usually the realistic style is a little bit more expensive because the materials, the textures, the time, work, and effort is usually a little bit more out there when it comes to tuning. Because with realistic, you have to also consider like specialized furs and things and materials. It's not a cheap venture, but there you go. You have tuning, you have realistic. You want to cover anything else while you're at it?
Pitch mentioned before the kimono styles as well and the chibi styles. Can you go tell us about it?
Well, I really don't have to describe them except for the, as far as the kimono goes, you have basically a bigger face and the eyes are a lot bigger. And they usually like shiny, it's got like made like the shiny material and, you know, that's basically the only way I can think of describing it.
Doesn't the kimono style have like, they don't really have muzzles to them, they more have like squished face features? Like it's all kind of in the same like area. Yeah. But they're really hard to. Don't they generally have like the domes over their eyes?
The dome eyes, yeah.
Eyes, yeah. No, there's that. I've only seen a couple, so I don't really know much about kimono style. I know that a lot of people like it.
We have anything else we want to cover?
Nope, that was it. That was everything on our list. So then, thank you for tuning in with us. Oh, before we go, show us some of the suits you have.
Yes, this
radar and,
you know, this
and
is
Necro.
the moment.
And like show off.
God, I gotta break them. That's hot seat.
Go get out!
Hot seat hour, let's go. Time to, show off what you got. Showcase.
You knew I was gonna grab them.
Of course. I like radar!
No, I had to grab him.
If you have any fursuit questions that you specifically want to know, anything that was not addressed in this video, we do have plans for the future, but if there's anything in specific you think we should cover, it helps us out if you let us know ahead of time. That way we can kind of research it and figure out what we want to do.
Tell us we want the Q so we can answer the A.
Yeah! Exactly! If that's it, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and leave us a comment if there's anything that you want to see. And we will see you all in the next video. Doodles! Bye guys!